Let's switch over to United States, Indy next. Unfortunate news that came out since the last time we were on the air involving Sophia Floersch. Unfortunately, she is out of her ride. It appears sponsorship issues have allowed the deal to fall apart after just one race. We know Sophia brings a lot of media attention, her racing experience in Europe, and her brand, the Sophia name we've seen on the race cars, including sports cars. So this really came to a shock to me, Emily. Do you anticipate that some a concern where the disappointment to see such an international driver with a big following lose the ride due to sponsorship issues?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a shock that I think nobody saw coming. We so excited to have Sophia Flourish part of this series. Again, to your point, Joe, because of the knowledge and expertise that brings from her previous work in open wheel racing. So she was certainly a really exciting addition to this series. Again, I am a IndyCar advocate, so the business side of things, I just pulled up her number. She has close to 900,000 followers on Instagram. So she is a impactful driver that would have brought a lot of viewers to this series. And she did excellent out of her first race. She finished in P12, which is an admirable finish. I don't remember the differentials between her and the cars ahead, but she was within a second or so, I believe. One of our viewers can fact check me if I'm wrong, where she ultimately finished. So she had, for the first race out, like she was trying to keep up with the leaders ahead of her. So to go back to your original question, it's incredibly disappointing that this fell through because of lack of sponsorship. I tried to do a deep dive on the Reddit forums, and it's very unclear, if this was due to lack of funding from that team, lack of funding that she was able to bring. It's very unclear and muddled. So I don't know. She is, we've talked about it, a very vocal driver. She's spoken out about how she really doesn't agree with having these female only racing series and other matters in our community. So I have a feeling we might get a full story from her later down the road. Also just did a quick check, no news on what's next for her. She might be going back to prototypes. Unclear on what's next for Sophia Flourish, but obviously hopeful that this isn't the last we see of her, because she really is a great talent. And man, such a bummer, because she brought so much exciting to the Indy Next series. And in addition to that, she was a female driver that we could support and discuss on this program. So we'll be watching wherever she ends up. A super huge loss to the Indy Next series.
Yeah, as you said, sponsorships in feeder series like these are so important because these drivers aren't being paid. They're not full pay drivers until they make it to Formula One or IndyCar. It's really sad to see someone like Sophia Floersch not being able to race in Indy Next due to funding issues. I mean, that's the name of these feeder series. Yeah, Stark? What do you think? These I'm so sorry. These feeder series, they need funding. You need funding from sponsors to even race in these to show off what they can do. Following is one thing, but in motorsport, money is a bigger thing. Money will prevent you from being able to race. Followers, they might help you get into a seat. They might help you with sponsorships and stuff, but actually having that money, having that sponsorship is the name of the game for all of these feeder series.
You bring up a really great point, Isha, about you got to bring the sponsorship money, the funding, even if you have the name of Sophia Flourish. Another big name, of course, Haley Deegan in Indy Next. She brings a lot of sponsorship, including Monster Energy, which has a huge presence in motorsports up to the F1 level. But we also know globally, a lot of uncertainty going around with the global markets. Not a good week for the stock markets here in the United States, globally. And it's these companies that do fund motorsports, whether it's not just the driver, but also you look at F1, race title sponsorship, premium partners, NASCAR sponsorship level, INDYCAR. So I'll start with you on this, Isha, since you were talking about that. Could sponsorship funds be a concern for drivers during this uncertain time we're going through?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, money is the name of the game in motorsport. There's definitely drivers who do not come from affluent families that need these sponsorships to even race and to even have a chance to work up to each feeder series. So it's going to be an unfortunate situation where people who don't have the funding originally, like we've seen in Formula One, like Lewis Hamilton, and Esteban Ocon, the need of sponsorships is very important to bring up these drivers who have great talent, but just unfortunately do not have the money already to support themselves in the feeder series. Like I said, it's a very uncertain time. I know I'm scared of the market right now, but because it's uncertain, we just have to wait and see how everyone and each individual sponsor handles this situation.
Yeah, I'm completely aligned with you, Isha. I think we're all very scared, not even apprehensive at this point of what is coming, the unknown of it all. And I think you bring up a great point, Joe. How is this going to feed into motorsports? At the end of the day, that is a business, and the priority of these sponsors. I'm just using Monster Energy because we're talking about Haley Deegan, but Monster Energy priority, a feeder series driver, the priority is going to shift. So I think ultimately, to Isha's point, some of these main attraction racing series like the Formula Ones, like the NASCARs, they will be I, I'm not an expert in sponsorship dealings, but I would assume they would be fine. These smaller, come upping racing series with these, smaller names, not the Haley Deegans of the world that have already an established following, they are potentially going to be more impacted by whatever market changes are coming. Um, more. They're going to be the ones that, unless they are, you know, really creating impactful moments that are drawing viewers in, those are the drivers that are going to have to be more concerned with their livelihood in these series. So that's all I really want to say, because I think we'll all go down a deep dark spiral thinking about what we're going to be talking about on this program next week.
Yes.
But it's t- the word uncertain times.
Very uncertain times. I think there's a lot of good points you all mentioned, and especially my thought, especially thinking of F1 Academy, where not only do we have the F1 teams, but you also have American Express, Tommy Hilfiger. These sponsors, I feel, will be in it, and if you're in that seat, you should be in a good spot for the year. I don't see one of those sponsors pulling out early because of the uncertainty, and of course, on such a global stage compared to Indy Next, where Indy Next, yes, this is one step below IndyCar. We know IndyCar has a bit of a smaller platform compared to F1, F1 Academy. So it'll be really interesting to see how sponsors will adapt with all the changes. And we'll be following the news. And of course, for all motorsports news, Grid Tonight every Wednesday right here on the Grid Network.